What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 8. This is the Potty Mouths podcast. As always, I am Greg.
And I'm Vinny.
And today we're going to be previewing the NFL Week 5. We're going to be previewing the big college, and there aren't many, but the big college games this weekend. This is kind of the last mediocre weekend before we get into some really good weekends to close October in the college slate.
I can't believe it's week 5 already in NFL football.
It's insane.
It really is.
So yeah, we'll get into NFL, NCAA as always. We react on Tuesdays, we predict on Thursdays, and then we're gonna get into MLB playoffs. Obviously, I'll do my little WNBA thing, and then we'll get you guys out of here for the weekend ahead. I'll kick things off with tonight's game, Thursday Night Football. The Buccaneers go to Atlanta on Amazon, and Atlanta's a 1.5 point favorite at home. Could be a good game. Division rivalry could actually be interesting. I will watch late because the Mets will be on. I'll double screen it. But I like. I'm just gonna trust Baker having more experience with his team than Cousins, who didn't even have a touchdown. No one on the offense had a touchdown last weekend. I'm gonna go with Baker and the Bucs to go into Atlanta, and probably squeak out like a 4-point victory or something like that.
Oh man,
I get. Even Vegas thinks it's a coin flip.
What did you say the line was? 2.5?
Last I saw 1.5. Last night I wrote that down.
So it's 2.5 Falcons now, minus 2.5.
Okay.
I'm a Baker guy. I like what they did last week, coming off the loss from the week before, the embarrassment to the Broncos.
But you're Baker, touchdown maker?
Yeah. Bijan has to really kind of step up, and we talked about it a little bit the other day, perform a little bit like the pick that he was, picked in the draft. The expectations, everything is on his shoulders. Kyle Pitts had no catches, I think, the other day. And like you said, no offensive touchdowns. Koo had a big game, and defensive side scored too.
Bijan must get in the end zone for them to win.
Yeah, he needs to get in the end zone. I need him to get in the end zone personally too. But I like the Bucs here. I don't like losses in short weeks. So when you win and you're rolling a little bit, it's a little bit more comforting on the for the Bucs in this game. So I'm taking the Bucs.
All right, so we agree there. Then the next game we'll get into my Jets, my weird, complicated Jets in London at Tottenham Stadium. Tottenham Stadium, who cares? They suck. Jets at Vikings in London, 9:30 in the morning start. 2.5 point favorites are the Vikings. Some would say revenge game for Sam Darnold, but I don't know if anyone's still here that he played with. I think that's just one of those things. Football is going to football. I think the Jets actually get out of there with a win.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
I'm pretty sure at least once that Rodgers has played in London. That I don't know. I'm sure he has. I know they definitely sent Green Bay over there. So the travel, the time change, all that, I don't think it's going to affect the most important player on the field, in my opinion, and that's Rodgers. Sauce versus Jefferson will be really fun to watch. Hopefully it happens more often than not. And then I know a lot of talk about Brees and Garrett need to be better, blah, 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 blah. I know Brian Flores has the Vikings defense really looking phenomenal. But I think this will be the game. I mean, just put on the Vikings-Packers tape and mimic what you can, and I think Brees will get yards. I think Garrett Wilson will find holes. I think Mike Williams is getting healthier. This is a game for Conklin. He was a former Viking. I think the Jets pull off this win, and if they don't, and if they get killed,
It's over.
then it's time to be like, all right, maybe get Devontae while you're still in London. So we'll see, but I'm confident that the Jets bounce back in probably a fun competitive game. Comes down to the wire. Maybe Greg the Leg actually hits the late field goal here to give the Jets the W. What about you, Mr. Fish and Chips? What do you got?
I don't have any problems with the Jets defense from last week. So if that defense shows up against the Vikings this week, I think they have a really good chance. Need to, like you said, like we said the other day, those two guys need to get involved a little bit more than they did last week. Breece Hall needs to be a little bit more efficient running the ball. And if you watch the Niner, I watched the whole Jet Niner game. And then the Jets second game. Who did they play second game?
Titans?
Yeah, Titans. They threw the ball they targeted Wilson a ton more times. So I'm not quite sure what happened in the last 2 weeks that they don't target him, but he has to be targeted early and often if they're going to be successful this week. But if the Jets defense shows up, like I said, like last week, I think that they're going to escape with with the upset. If you want a surprise upset win here, they're -3 right now. I like it. I probably climb a little bit more too. I'm going to say closer to 4 come game time, but I'm taking the Jets here this week on the road and away from the hoopla that's around here. And I don't expect a high scoring game because they never really are. So
Both like them.
I'll take the Jets.
All right, a lot of agreement here. Yeah, it's just what the Jets do. They look ugly against a team they should beat, and then they didn't Gase win, beat the Rams that year, and it cost them Trevor Lawrence, which probably is a good thing there.
Is he around? Is that guy
Adam Gase? I think he's trying to catch his eyes. I think his eyes
God.
flew out of his face because of how fucking crazy they were.
Embarrassment, that guy.
All right, next game. Good game, fun game, historically, very competitive, very important. This will be the first of the 2 matchups between the Ravens and the Bengals. Bengals 2.5-point favorites at home at last glance. You know me, I'm a Burrow guy, I'm a Chase guy. I root for the Bengals when they're not playing the Jets, and sometimes when they are playing the Jets. So get your popcorn ready because it's going to should be great defensively. Hopefully the Bengals can do something with King Henry. I know they couldn't do anything with the Commanders ground game. But we'll see. And just thinking about how good Henry looked could be a tall task for the Bengals, but Vegas likes the home team slightly. Because
Vegas likes the home. I'm looking at -3 Ravens right now. Is CBS wrong?
Oh, did I mess that up?
Possibly. Because I was going to say if the Ravens had on the road to the Bengals. Jesus.
Hey, listen, it was late. I was in my in my feelings with the Mets.
Oh God! Don't even start.
We'll get to it. Do I have that line messed up? Yeah, Baltimore -2.5. Oh, look at me. It's the Bees. I got the B and the Bengals, whatever. All right. So this line makes more sense.
Yeah.
But because it's in Cincy, I'll give them the benefit. I'll give them advantage. I think I'm going to go Bengals if they can tackle Derrick Henry before he gets into the secondary. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll go Bengals at home in a close, fun game.
I like the Bengals at home too. I think this is one of the games that they're going to play, and they're going to say, "Okay, don't forget about us. We're still here." Even though the record is, 1-3, we've touched on it every week so far. They could easily be 3-1. So it's not a team that's 1-3 like the Browns. It's this, and I think the Bengals are worlds above the Browns at 1-3. So I like them at home. I like this I like them to win. Forget the line.
Right.
I think Joe B's gonna say, this is still my place. This is my home here, and I know you guys are good, but we're just as good. And these are the two teams we spoke about earlier on before the season started, where we thought at the end it's going to be these two teams in the AFC with the Chiefs, obviously. But no, I think the Bengals get a good home win here, and they kind of show everybody like, all right, well, now we'll be 2-3, and two good wins. So Bengals
I'm
for
with
me.
you there. Should be good. Should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean Burrow over Lamar.
Me too.
But listen, if the Ravens win by 10, I'm not shocked. All right, next game we'll get into. Good game on paper. If the Texans can live up to the preseason hype, and if Stroud can get some of the 2023 magic back, we have the Bills -1 at the Texans. I think this should be fun. I think this should be probably a high-scoring affair. Both defenses have left a little to be desired in recent weeks, especially the Bills getting thrashed by the Ravens. Yeah, it's pretty much a pick 'em, right? Give me what's going on with Mixon? He's still out?
Not sure.
And Tank Dell. I know Mixon and Tank Dell are iffy, right? Give me the Bills. I'm going quarterback here, going safe. Give me Allen over Stroud, especially after that beating. We'll see how Diggs plays against his former team, but this could be like last second Hail Mary for Stroud, false incomplete, Bills win by 2, something crazy like that. Or no, well, probably more than a touchdown, but more than a field goal. I'll take the Bills by a whisker. And this is one of your flush picks we'll get into later, so I'll let you touch on this.
I'm going to take the Bills here. I think that the Bills coming off that game last week against the Ravens, it's going to, angry Josh Allen coming into Houston after last week. I think they win pretty handedly here. Bills defense steps up without Von Miller, who is now suspended for performance-enhancing drugs or whatever.
Is that what I thought it was a little domestic violence thing. It was a conduct. It was a conduct policy. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't want to.
He's not playing.
I don't want to. If I'm wrong, I apologize to Von Miller, but that's what I thought it was.
No, we'll text Von and we'll catch up with him to see how.
Yeah, me and Von go way back.
So no, I don't like the Texans here. I like the Bills. I like them to get Cook going again this week. He didn't do too much last week against the Ravens. When he goes, they go. It opens up Josh down the field, and I think this is going to be a must-win game for Josh Allen. Even though, everyone's was on the Texans bandwagon, I think this is a reality check of the Bills being a very good football team, 3-1, as are the Texans. But I just think the Bills are going to be too much here for them at home this week.
I just want to apologize if you can hear the landscaper into my mic. I apologize. I can't control that. But I hear it. All right.
Don't worry about it.
Good. All right. Next game. We got 2 more games left to talk about on the slate. This is, in my opinion, a weird little division game here that I'm going to get into. Both teams are at 2-2. Both teams are a surprising 2-2, which says a lot. Could be kind of an eliminator if one of these teams is going to actually be a contender in December. The winner of this game gets a nice little head start against the rest, and I'm talking about the Raiders at the Broncos. The Broncos are the home favorite, 2.5-point favorite. I'm assuming Devontae is not playing if he wants out. So the Raiders will go to Bo Nix and the Broncos, whose defense looks phenomenal.
Yeah, really good.
But even the Raiders beat up on the Ravens, so they have some tricks up their sleeve. This one's a little tough to call, but I'll say the shorthanded Raiders lose, and I think the Broncos probably win by the field goal behind that stellar defense. So I'm going to go Broncos at home to beat Vegas?
The Vegas team is so interesting to me because every time, well, the last 2 weeks, I'm like, they don't have a chance. And they won last week without anybody playing.
Yeah, they beat Cleveland. Right?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, Cleveland's a better team than the Raiders are right now, right? Especially without Adams not playing. Then, I like the Broncos. I don't love Bo Nix if we're talking about guys that are going to win you a game. I think the running game's going to have a big game. I think Williams is going to take over this game. I like the Broncos at home. I think their defense is stellar, like you said. I think they've been playing real well. Obviously, we saw that against the Jets last week too. But I don't know if weather played a lot into that.
Just had the pickup,
but no, I'm gonna take the running game here at home at Mile High, and I'm gonna take the Broncos at the minus what is now minus 2.5 or -3. So I'm rolling Bronco country.
Let's ride.
That's right.
Right. Last game we'll break down in depth. Well, not too in depth, but last game will be the Sunday night game. Probably the two most popular teams in the NFL because a lot of people are front runners. But the Cowboys at the Steelers. It's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a 2.5-point favorite. It's gonna be very well watched. Two iconic logos, two iconic helmets, two iconic teams. I don't think this will be an iconic game, though. I think Dallas wins, and I don't think it. I think the scoreboard will be close, but I don't know if Fields is going to do enough to put up the points that Dak can. So I think Cowboys go into Pittsburgh and get a semi-comfortable win. Closer to 10 than 3, in my opinion. So I'm taking the Cowboys, who need a win, to beat up on the Steelers on Sunday night.
No Micah Parsons, right?
No.
Oh, I think the Cowboys put up a bunch of points on them. I think they're going to win pretty handily here. And I mean, Pittsburgh's, I don't know. What's their record right now? It doesn't really, to
3-1.
me. What are they, 3-1?
3-1, right? 3-1. Who they just lose to?
You want my opinion on a very overrated 3-1, if that makes any sense? Like,
Fields isn't throwing anywhere, but it's Tomlin. It's his defense. They're always going to be in games. The Steelers just lost to the Colts and by 3. The Flacco game.
Yeah, so I'm going big on the Cowboys here. I'm not a Dak guy. I'm not a Cowboy believer, but I think this is a game that they put it a little bit more together than they did against the Giants. I don't think the Steelers going to have it on the offensive side to hang with them. I think Fields might have a tough day, maybe turning the ball over, even though Mike is not playing. I'm not completely sold on him at all, but give me the Cowboys here.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Dak's just, when Dak's good, Dak is good. And that's usually in the regular season. That's usually early in the regular season. So I would lean towards him. Just a little news. I touched on it a little earlier. Davante Adams requesting a trade. It was breaking news on PMP, on our very own podcast. And Vin let us know that Adams has requested a trade. And it looks like the front runners are the Jets and Saints because of his ties to both quarterbacks there. I know people have mentioned the Bills, the Chiefs, I believe the Steelers maybe.
Niners.
And the Niners, yes. But the two lead dogs in this race seem to be the Jets and the Saints because of Davante's preference. I think, I mean, we said in our NFL preview, I believe, I said flip Reddick for Davante. Yep. Flip Reddick for Davante. I know that. Mm-hmm. I know that's gaining steam now because of more popular outlets are stealing my take. But yeah, if you can do it too. If you need this, if you need to get Bart Scott was saying, get a third team in. and send Reddick to whoever wants him, and the second round pick goes to the Raiders, and Reddick goes to whoever needs a pass rusher, and then the Jets get their guy. I don't. I don't. Do the Saints need him? I don't think they need him.
I don't think the Saints need him as much as other teams need him per se. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't. Oh, man, it would be scary if he was on the Bills or the Ravens.
I haven't heard Ravens. Are they out
those
there?
are the two teams that we've been. Yeah, they were in there too. I mean, those are two teams that we're talking about that need number twos, right?
I just think the Jets are the most likely of
More
all
the
these
Ravens
teams.
than the Bills. That would be scary.
I think the Jets are most likely of all the teams we're mentioning.
I mean, it's.
I think they're the most likely team to offer the second round pick. Plus, they have Reddick, who
I would have just traded Ayuk straight up for him as a Niner right now, because I don't really think he wanted to be here. I don't think he wants to be here, and they're both owed money, obviously. It would, be a different scene for Devontae coming into San Francisco, and which help us out tremendously, especially if McCaffrey's not going to play. But I would probably agree with you saying, as much as everybody else is, Saints or Jets. The Jets need him more. The Saints probably don't need him as much, but I guess it's the familiarity with the two guys that he likes and then who've made him a lot of money. So I guess the least he can do is go back and maybe help them out at this point. But
I mean,
we'll see what happens. I mean, it's whatever.
I think the Jets need a Reddick type more than a Vontae type, but
yes,
I just think I think Douglas is probably at his wit's end with the whole Reddick nonsense. So
I'd be. You are.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care about people who aren't in the building for my team. So and then another we'll get into another rumor is that the Chiefs now without Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and with Kelsey looking every bit of what is he 34 years old?
Not signed.
KC, the rumors are swirling there. Will the Chiefs pull the trigger on a trade for? I've heard Amari Cooper named. I've heard George Pickens named, which is crazy to me because Pittsburgh's good, and who do they have without Pickens? But
I've heard Tyreek's name.
And yeah, that was the last guy I was going to say was Tyreek returning. I don't know if they can afford Tyreek, because that's the original reason they traded him, because they couldn't afford him. But I heard Cooper's contract is very friendly for a trade, and Pickens is probably still on his rookie deal. Do you think Kansas City pulls a trigger for a big name? These are big names, if you know football, big name wideout.
You're down two big players in Kansas City, right? You're down Pacheco, and you're down Rice.
And Hollywood Brown, who was an off-season pickup, which
hasn't played. I don't think he's going to play at all.
Right.
But I think the Chiefs, if they want to stay relevant with those other two teams we spoke about earlier, as in the Ravens and Bengals, they're going to have to make the move. A move. Now, I don't know if it's going to be as flashy as to Tyreek per se. I think, like you said, the Cooper deal is friendly. I don't know why he doesn't ever wear his helmet properly. He looks out like the bottom of like the. It's weird to me. He's a grown man. Has played in the league for 100 years, and he looks out the bottom like he's in the Little Giants. But it's I would say more of like a Cooper kind of deal. I don't really know what he brings to the table anymore as far as like what. It's just a different athlete. Like Rice and Tyreek and these guys are just speed guys in that offense. Are different. Mike Cooper's more like, I don't know.
I'll say this.
More like Anquan Bolden was at this point at the end of his career, if that makes sense.
I'll say this. If Deshaun Watson wasn't a creep who didn't know how to hit categories on Pornhub and didn't lose all his confidence because everyone found out he's a creep and a sexual predator.
He's a creep.
If he didn't do all that and forget how to play football, I think Amari Cooper would be up there with the top 15 wide. He'd be closer to 15, but I think he has games in December and January when they need him most, and Cooper goes bonkers. I think he's single-handedly, and I know no one
Almost.
cares about this, but he's like single-handedly eliminated me in fantasy like 3 years in a row. So
Yeah,
he
no,
still
there's a lot
has
of
it in.
people
He
who
still
care
has it in him, and you give him Pat Mahomes, it could be pretty damn impressive what he's still capable of.
I'm not again. I think that just makes the most sense for them as far as economics and as
Right.
like not the prototypical guy in their offense that's putting up 200 yards a game receiving. He'll do everything you're gonna ask him to do. He's gonna possess he's catches everything. He's not a problem. So it makes the most sense.
And as far as Pickens goes, I'd love to see him with Russell Wilson. I'd love to see him with a quarterback who has more of an aerial threat than Justin Fields. But I don't know if we'll see that if they keep winning. So, all right,
Yeah,
Vin, you.
I agree. I don't know much. I mean, Justin Fields. I don't know. You're right. I mean, it would be nice to see a guy like that with that speed and that ability to play with somebody who can actually throw the ball more than 10 yards.
I mean, look at Deontay Johnson. His last 2 years in Pittsburgh were a struggle, and then he gets Andy Dalton, a veteran who can throw it here and there, and Deontay Johnson's getting targeted almost as much as Malik Neighbors. He's got a little revival.
I mean, the Red Rifle's just a special human being.
The Red Rifle's back, baby. So. All right, I'll let Vin.
Yeah, he is.
I'll let Vin handle the college slate for us.
Let's get into college. Let's start off with some SEC here. Let's go Mizzou. Number 9 Mizzou at Texas A&M. A&M is -2.5 at home in this game. That to me is telling me A&M's going to win this game. The line is wild to me. I mean, you're talking about a number 9 team coming into a team. I don't think A&M is very good. I know you like. What is this? They changed their quarterback too.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, anytime you got a team at home that's either not ranked or ranked higher than the other team, it usually means a victory for that home team there that's favored. So I'm taking the Aggies here. Unfortunately, I don't think they're very good, but the line's telling me otherwise here, and usually it's my gut feeling on these kind of things. Aggies at home, take them 2.5 against the Tigers, who kind of just escaped last week. Or did they escape last week? Yeah, they did. Right, they did. So my A&M Aggies here at home, 2.5. What do you think about this one?
I'm in lockstep with you. I think A&M gets this win at home in a one of the tougher environments to play. Like you said, Mizzou hasn't only just escaped last week. Mizzou keeps escaping narrowly. As good as their defense is, as good as their receiver is, I think I don't want to say luck, but I think their Cinderella escape tactics, whatever they're doing, I think it runs out this Saturday, and I think they go into Kyle Field and get an L. So I think Mizzou gets their first loss of the season.
Could be dangerous down there with it's an early game too. It's a 12:00 game, which surprises me a little bit, but usually they're ready to go down there at College Station, and I don't think this weekend's going to be any different. I, from the beginning, wasn't sold on them against Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame's very good. And long story short, A&M here at home, 12:00, College Station, Tigers go down.
Yeah,
Next game on the slate, ACC matchup, SMU at number 22, Louisville. Louisville minus the touchdown at home. I've watched SMU 2 weeks in a row now. I've watched SMU dismantle TCU and FSU. Not two very good teams, but SMU at home seems like they're pretty good. I also saw them play the first game of the season against Nevada, and I thought they looked like a team that belonged in Little Giants. They were terrible.
Nevada hung tough. Nevada was like a three touchdown dog.
Yeah. No, they did. It was an interesting game for the most part. Another early game here at Louisville. I'm gonna go, man. I mean, I would take the over in this game at 56.5, but SMU just seems to put up a ton of points in the last 2 weeks. They're hot right now. I'm going to take SMU Mustangs on the road, not to win, to cover. Louisville to win. Your thoughts?
This game, I think the first team, the 14 points wins, because I think that would show me that their offense is going to be a little hotter on the day. Louisville, it took them a while to get going and get back into that Notre Dame game, which ultimately lost by a touchdown. So I think if SMU comes out of the gates hot, maybe gets a 7-0, 10-0 lead, 14-3, something like, I think they will win. It's one of those games where I don't think it will be back and forth. I think one of these teams will have a lead and keep the lead. But with that said, SMU, they can put up points, but I think Louisville bounces back with a win, maybe in the 10 to 13 point range. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe their offense isn't that good, and SMU just lights them up. But I'm with Louisville here.
I mean, check the weather in this game. If it's a rainy kind of game, I think Louisville on the ground will kind of just take SMU out of their situation because they like to throw the ball a ton, and they have guys on the outside that are pretty much all Miami guys, transfer guys that can run, and they're speed guys. But I would definitely check the weather on that. I don't know what it's going to be in Louisville on Saturday at 12 o'clock, but that would make a difference to me. If that's the case, I would run Louisville if the weather's not going to be cooperative. Next game on the slate here, Iowa at Ohio State. Number 3 Ohio State. Number 3 Ohio State was pretty dominant so far this season. Minus 20. Man, I don't. Is this an Iowa team that's the old Iowa team that's defensively?
That's why we put this on the outline to talk about, because if Iowa shows up with that defense, maybe Ohio State gets finally tested. But it's a 20-point spread, so
it's going down though. So
okay.
I mean, look, this is the kind of. I think the line last week against Michigan State for Ohio State was 24, and I think for some reason this week again Michigan State's plus 24 against whoever they're playing too. But
I think they're going to Oregon tomorrow.
Yes, that is correct. So Oregon is tomorrow night. There's some good games tomorrow night, actually. I'm gonna just say I don't know much about Iowa, and Ohio State seems to be a pretty dominant team, and they're at home. I mean, 20 is a lot, but if they're number 3 in the nation, they're number 3 in the nation for a reason. They got players, they got guys who can, play in almost every spot, obviously, and be dominant. So I'm gonna take the Buckeyes in this game at home. And hope roll the Hawkeyes here and make a statement and say we're championship material like everyone said we are all year.
Yeah, I hate Ohio State.
I know you do, but I mean it's.
But listen, money talks, and they spent enough of it. If it's coming down, if it's more like a 18.5,
it is 18 right now.
All right, then yeah, I could see them doing that. Iowa is always shorthanded.
They're boring. They're as boring as Wisconsin is.
Not shorthanded, short-skilled, if that's a word. At offense,
you just made it up. Yeah,
just made it up, except for the tight end position. Yeah, give me the freaking Buckeyes. I hate them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I feel the passionate for the.
I just hope Oregon, who I don't like either. I don't like Dan Lanning. I just hope Oregon's legit by the time they play.
Right.
So Oregon can make that a game.
Right.
But
I don't think they're that good, my opinion.
Which team?
Oregon.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that they're completely overrated. I think they were completely overrated in the rankings to begin the season. So, I'm not on the committee, but they've played like a team that wasn't a top 5, 7, 10 team, whatever they were ranked 7, I think, when it started.
I think your flush picks say that you should be on the committee.
Yeah, well, maybe. Next game up, SEC battle, number 12 Ole Miss, coming off a loss last week at South Carolina. South Carolina +9 at home, between the hedges of South Carolina. What is it with these SEC schools and the hedges on the field, by the way?
Yeah, give it a little green. Show a little green.
A little green. I'll I took the over in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored here. I think South Carolina scored a lot against LSU at home that day. Ole Miss coming off a little bit of a tough loss last week against Kentucky, gets back on track, puts up a lot of points, and I think covers this game against South Carolina. I think South Carolina is like a year away from being a legitimate SEC contender. They got some kids who can play quarterback. Both of them can play, and you saw the backup come up against LSU that game, and he played pretty good. Defense is fast, so but I am expecting points here. I think it was 52 or 52 and a half or something like that. But I think
it's gone up.
Yeah, it's going to go up. So if you can watch it now and understand what's going on here, I would get on it if you want to follow the leader here. But give me Ole Miss against the Gamecocks at South Carolina. Your thoughts on this SEC matchup, Mr. SEC Guru?
I'm not a guru, but I'm with you with the South Carolina being a year away. I think what Mizzou will lose at the end of this year, I think South Carolina is primed to slide into their spot and be possibly a top 15 team next year for most of the year, if not all year. Where I am not with you is I think South Carolina covers at home. I think this could be possibly a look-ahead game for Ole Miss. LSU is on the bye, waiting to play Ole Miss next weekend. I don't know if Lane Kiffin, if that's in his blood to look ahead, especially after that loss. Maybe I could see a late cover by Ole Miss possibly, but I'm just gonna stick with my gut and go with South Carolina covers, but Ole Miss gets the win. But if Ole Miss comes out with trying to make a statement after a tough loss to Kentucky, I would not be surprised. But because I said it out loud first, I'll go South Carolina to cover it, but lose.
It wouldn't surprise me if this was like a game that they came out and showed that LSU game wasn't really.
The more I think about it, I mean, they could.
And you saw them play against LSU. I thought they were gonna. There was points in that game against LSU, that I'm like, all right, these guys
South Carolina I won't say should.
Yeah.
I'll say would. South Carolina would have won that game if their starting quarterback did not leave with an ankle injury.
We're going to stay in the ACC. Next game up, Tennessee at Arkansas, number 4. SEC, yeah.
You
stay
said
in the
ACC.
SEC.
Oh, they said ACC.
These two teams couldn't play in the ACC.
Yeah, it was they control it.
Number 4, Tennessee at Arkansas. Arkansas plus 13 at home against the Vols. I think Tennessee is pretty damn good, and Arkansas is a very athletic team. I think they're another team that's a year away from being very, very. They're competitive now, but putting you over that edge, and if it's this time next year, to me, Arkansas is. And Tennessee stays relevant like they are right now, this game's plus 6.5 or something like that, not 13, if that makes sense to anybody. But Tennessee's strong. Tennessee's loaded. I'm taking the Vols on the road at Arkansas here, and to cover, to win, to dominate.
What's the over-under here?
I'll tell you right now, pal. I'm going to tell you right now. What time is this game? Can you tell me that? How could you leave the Rutgers game off the list here, man? Rutgers, Nebraska. Oof. Barn burner. 57. 57. You like the points? I like the points too. I like the over. The Oklahoma game should have went over too, but Oklahoma decided to stay home that game because Tennessee did their job.
Yeah, defense travels. Tennessee's got one finally. I definitely think Tennessee wins the 13 at Arkansas. Is this the one game that Arkansas plays with their hairs on fire?
The line's making you think they should be more than two touchdown favorites, right? But 13 is saying, bet Arkansas. They're not going to 2 touchdowns. We're not there yet.
Yeah. I don't know. Tennessee's looks like a freaking powerhouse. I'll
I
take
know.
Tennessee to win and cover. With you, with what I said about South Carolina maybe taking Mizzou, maybe Arkansas kicks A&M out of the picture as a preseason top 16 team coming up. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? All right. I'll wait for Vin because the next game he's going to want to talk about. But yeah, Tennessee defense travel, like I always say, Tennessee gets that win. I think they cover, but I think Arkansas can give them a little bit of a scare. And then I hear him. Vin, you're not. I don't see you. Oh boy. Yeah, go out and in. I'll kill time. I'm not gonna edit this because why waste time editing this? Because in an hour and a half we have the Mets game 3, but we have one more game to get into on the college slate that I want Vinny to talk about because it's his Miami Hurricanes, number 8 in the nation, going to Cal to play the Bears. Cal, 10-point underdogs. So it's Miami -10. Hey, welcome back. I was just setting up Miami
Welcome
at
back.
Cal.
But you too.
I was just setting up Miami at Cal.
Not much to set up here, pal.
I think Tennessee at Arkansas
Game of the week.
is a night game, by the way. I think it's a 7:30. But
That's an exciting game because then it takes you right into the Miami disaster that they're gonna run Cal through the bleachers.
All right, we're getting into it. Forgot to put this picture up. Who cares? It's Ohio State. They're going to beat Iowa. But college game day goes to Cal for their 6 a.m. local time game day, where it will be dark out. So we have Miami at Cal. I already touched on it. Miami's 10-point favorite. So let's get into it. I'll let you start because this is your squad. I think Miami wins. I think they cover, so I'll keep that short and sweet. Vin, the floor is yours.
Number 8 Miami here going into a Cal team that's beyond my expectations, to be completely honest with you. I didn't think they'd be in this position in this part of the season. I don't from their past. I mean, I don't watch Cal football religiously, but 3-1 isn't bad.
I don't think anyone. Maybe Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch.
Well, it wasn't Swift from there too? Didn't he play there?
DeAndre.
I made that up. No, he played at Georgia, right? Anyways, I think the Miami Hurricanes here. I don't like traveling. I definitely don't like traveling to the West Coast, but being a night game out there, I'm sure they're out there already. I think that they're going to win handedly. I think Cam Ward continues his performance that he's had so far this season. I think that the Hurricanes are a little bit too much. I don't think Cal's seen a caliber team like this all season. And I think that Miami Hurricanes are going to put last week behind them and hopefully with a win move up in the rankings this week instead of moving backwards. But they need to win big, and that's the difference going forward now because there's nobody on, like we've talked about a bunch of times, nobody on their schedules are a threat to them at this point unless Louisville keeps their ranking. FSU's garbage. What do you disagree with?
Just win. You're undefeated, the ACC champion. You have nothing to worry about.
Being no. That's fine. That's all. You're right.
Yeah. Well, we can say that this year. I mean, we have that opportunity, and we can just win and get in there. Like that's obviously correct, but it'd be nice to show.
So you want like
a performance on the field rectify? Shows.
You want a top 5 ranking? Is that what you're after? Because it's not going to matter if you win the ACC.
It's just what my point is then I just think what they're doing on the field should reflect what their ranking is. That's all. And I agree with what you're saying as far as winning the ACC and so on. But I mean, then why have a ranking system if we're just going to, I mean, to me, it makes sense that if you're going to come out and perform every week, that your ranking should reflect what you're doing on the field. And yes, of course they can win the ACC. Yes, they should win the ACC this year. And yes, that would be their ticket to get in. But no, I think the Canes roll here. I think they do quick work of them. They should be up by half, and then I think I can go to bed and call it a night and get ready for the Met game the next day or Sunday. Yeah.
We'll get into baseball in a second. I just want to bring up something fun that I saw. There's graphics going around Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. Twitter. And it's like
it is Twitter.
It's the most obscure school or team that certain football teams and basketball teams in the NCAA have played. 1992, UCF Golden Knights played the team from Moscow. 1992, they played a team from Moscow. Miami Hurricanes. A long time ago. Miami Hurricanes played like a team from Havana, Cuba once.
I mean, everybody's got to get on the field.
I mean, it was interesting to see. Tennessee Volunteers football played for like the Tennessee School of the Deaf once.
I mean, what is the advantage of that for those guys?
I don't know.
Is it just to get a game? Is it just
I don't know.
To get some
I don't
run?
know if these are exhibitions. I don't know if there's clearly records of all this. But School of the Deaf, if they're still around and they still have a football team, maybe they can teach Brees Hall the a cadence or something.
Are we still talking about cadence? I got a text message from another Jacopino today about cadence.
The movie with what's his name? Charlie Sheen. Love that movie. Is it Charlie Sheen, right? Cadence. I got tattoos so you can see him.
We're talking cadence again, and I'm like, man, I just heard this conversation from somebody else, but
maybe
Salah's
just gotta let Rodgers do his thing with Hackett.
If Salah goes, is Hackett the head coach? Is that what we're looking for? Well, I mean, who else is going to be?
Well, because it's Woody Weasel Johnson. He'll hire a guy that has no experience, so he has all the control because he thinks he's a puppet master, but he's a fucking moron. Hey, thanks, Jets.
You like him?
Yeah, I'll be allowed. I'll be allowed on the field one day. All right. Anyway, let's get into baseball. Before we get into Game 3 tonight, Mets and Brewers. Vin called it. I don't know if he said sweet, but Vinton called the Tigers going into Houston and getting it done, which they did. The Tigers sweep the Astros. 2 good games. Houston had the lead in Game 2, lost it on I believe it was a 3-1 triple, I believe, right? Or was that a double? 3-1 hit, I'll say, yes, for the Tigers. Then the Royals did the same with obviously the short-handed and very cold hitting Orioles. Orioles will be back next year. The Orioles could very well win it all next year if they just fix the pitching staff, stay healthy. So the Royals get a sweep in Baltimore. Not surprising. We both predicted that as well. And then we both predicted the nightcap was San Diego gets it done against the, again, short-handed Braves. They made kind of pretty easy work. I know there was a late home run by Harris for the Braves that made it closer than it looked. So the Padres go on, and that's going to be a fun series. We'll react more Tuesday because the weekend series start on Saturday. Obviously, all the DSs. Dodgers Padres. It's a nice little fun rivalry. The Padres have ousted them, and I believe vice versa. There's some good history here, but the Dodgers have the boogeyman now in Shohei. I'd be shocked if Shohei does not do some damage in his first playoff. I don't think he's ever had a playoff at bat, and I believe Mike Trout only has one playoff hit in his career. So
Trout made the playoffs?
They won once. I think they got swept out. I think he had one hit, yeah.
Oh, my God. What was that, like his first or second year?
It was probably like 5 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it would be nice to see Ohtani add to his legend. All right, all that's good and well, but let's get to what we care about. Game 3 for the Mets. It's Quintana, not Peterson. I don't love that, but I don't know. Maybe
I don't either.
Maybe they're saving Peterson for Schwarber and Harper and getting ahead of themselves. But
I guess.
Listen, you said it. You said it Tuesday. The Mets aren't beating the Brewers if Pete doesn't show up. Pete has one hit. the series. Alvarez has one hit this
When was
series.
the last time you got a hit before the series? Just curious.
His last home run
Any in
was off
Atlanta?
Roger
One, two?
Clemens' son, who is not a pitcher. It was the middle of September.
Yeah,
That
he was
his last home
throwing
run.
softballs. Yes.
But yeah, JD Martinez one hit, Alvarez one hit, Francisco Lindor no hits in this series. Something's got to change if they're going to advance. Someone's got to make a play. Someone's got to get a hit. And what we're looking at is Quintana against Myers. Myers had a pretty good year. He's not their ace, obviously. Tobias Myers, a 3 ERA, 9-6 record.
Yeah.
Anyone would sign up for that if on your back end. So I'll let you take this. Mets need to win. Do they get it? How do they get it? What are you looking at? Who are you mad at? Let me know.
First things first, they should have beat the shit out of Montas last night. It's Frank Montas, not Cy Young. That's the game they had to win. They had to win last night, obviously. I mean, that was leaving like 10 guys. I think they left 10 on base last night, if I'm not mistaken. Minaya didn't pitch great, but he got through it, and leaving all those guys on base obviously was the big difference in that game. Obviously, the 2 home runs, the Churio were the first one obviously not so much, but the second one was a big difference. Garrett Mitchell, I think that's his first home run in 6 years. I would have rather have seen Peterson tonight, to be completely honest with you. I would have thought in a do or die, all hands on deck, he'd be on the mound. Quintana scares the ever-living daylights out of me. I don't know which Quintana is going to show up. Is it opening day or first 2 months Quintana, or is it going to be July, August Quintana when he was lights out and almost unhittable in certain situations? First off, I think he throws 85. And I don't know how he's still even relevant anymore at this point, and only the Mets can make him relevant still.
Great calves, though.
But
The pants.
Only way the Mets win this game tonight is if they're going to put up 7-8 runs. And they need all the guys that you just said to wake up.
It can't be Vientos and Winker and Nimmo.
Yeah, you can't wait for Jesse Winker to close his eyes again and hit a triple, because it's just not happening. So you want to set the tone, you want to set it early, and you want to put these guys into a tailspin, because the Mets bullpen, like we've said, in my opinion, and I don't understand this, and you can maybe explain this to me a little bit more. Reed Garrett came in last night, was good, right?
Yeah, you were second-guessing Mendoza not bringing in Diaz?
Stanek comes in. No, why didn't he just let one of those guys go one more?
Yeah.
At that point. And then you could always...
Even my mom was like, why do you think that Stanek guy out?
Yeah. My mom texted me last night. She's like, why doesn't he leave him in one more? Like, at least until he's in trouble. Because Maton was in trouble from the minute he stepped on the mound last night. And he's been good. I'm not saying that. But I'm not a fan of putting Diaz in the 8th. Because you already used Stanek and Garrett, so then what do you put Ottavino in the 9th?
Please, is Ottavino on the? He's on the roster, right?
They have a guy named some other guys on the roster. I don't even think he's pitched for them all year. I forget his name. That's how
Max Kranick.
It's bizarre. Yes, Max Kranick.
Oh, and I remember who you were thinking about when we were talking about leaving Vientos off and Iglesias. Joey Wendell, didn't he break camp with the team?
Joe Wendell. Yes.
Joey Wendell. All right, but continue.
So, anyways, in my opinion, the Mets have to put up big innings early on. Can't leave guys on base. These guys, if this is Alonso's going away party,
then go away.
the biggest regret he's ever going to have. Then go away is 100% the truth. Because every Met fan in New York that loves the Mets and watched the Mets all year is tired of him.
You can't. That's not true, though. I'm telling you, all these Met fans are head in the clouds, rainbows and unicorns, and they love Pete and blah 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 blah. Give me
what's
a good
the love though?
Player.
I don't. What
Michael Kay said on the radio today. He's become Mark Grace. He's just a home run hitter. He doesn't even do that.
He's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick pony. I got a text last night. Alonso's a one-trick pony from Matt Morano last night, and he's 100% right. And it's not important, like you just said. His last home run came off of Cody Clemens.
Who is what, like a shortstop?
He's like a third base shortstop. He's a utility guy.
Yeah.
And
So
let me just touch base on one other thing too. And this is not about the Mets. The Tigers and Royals, their pitching's superior. And I said this the other day. The Royals are going to have to give the Yankees a really tough run.
it's funny because on paper, if you're a Yankee fan, you gotta like that Houston and Baltimore are gone. But yeah, if with Waka, Reagans, Lugo, and I'm not sure if they're gonna bring a fourth in for the longer series, probably not. If they can do what they did for 6 months, the Yankees could be in trouble with this again. The advantage you get is not an advantage when you're sitting on your ass for 5 days and then you have to play the 6th.
No. Give me your Mets prediction. Give me the score. Give me the outcome. Give me who the player that comes out tonight that performs to make the Mets advance to play the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly Saturday.
It's got to be
if you think that happens.
I don't know, man. It has to be Lindor. Like I'd love to see 2 doubles. I don't need home runs.
Yeah.
I don't need home runs from a top of the lineup guy.
Yeah.
Give me two doubles, 3 ribbies out of your MVP caliber player. It has to be Lindor. Quintana's got to go 6 1/3.
Interesting.
But are the Brewers just a better team? Mets have more talent. Mets clearly have more talent.
I don't know if they have more talent. That's the thing.
You don't think Lindor and Severino and Diaz and Nimmo and even Pete on his best day and JD?
You haven't seen Pete in his best day in 6 years.
Yeah. Well,
his biggest regret's going to be turning down $160 million from the New York Mets when he's playing in Bumblefuck next year. And
I hope he's a Cub.
The most
you want to be a Cub? You want
on the face of this earth.
You want your people to say the Cubs want you? Go.
Let me tell you, if he wants to get A, he wants to get paid, and B, he wants to be treated like the royalty of from the Met fans and who he thinks he is. Then tonight's his stage to perform. He can't go up there.
No, you know what? I don't want him back. I don't want him back. Pete, go. Pete, you want your money? You want to sign Boris? Pete, you want your money
tonight? He has to play.
He's not gonna. Go to Chicago and make an extra $3 million a year on stupid polar bear Cub meme shirts. Go do your awkward commercials somewhere else. Thanks for the home runs, but you're not a winning. You're not a winning player. You're not a leader.
Derby winner. Nope.
Yeah, don't try to be Griffey. You're not Griffey. That's like
I'd rather have Vientos playing first next year.
It's like who Nate Robinson winning the most dunk competitions. Like just stop. Anyway.
So you're going. What are you going?
I'm going. It has to be Quintana and has to be Lindor. I don't know if they pull it out.
Wow.
I don't know if they pull. I don't know. I think Mendoza's
dried up.
Like no. I don't think there's no advantage. There's no advantage with the managers. There's no advantage for the Mets at closer. There's no advantage in the starting pitching tonight. I would maybe lean Myers, even though Quintana's been good. Like,
agreed.
And if Lindor and Pete and Alvarez and especially JD Martinez is down now, Winker's in. If they're not going to get a hit, who's hotter than Churio?
Nobody. 20 years old.
Where's the advantage going into tonight for the Mets?
World by the balls.
Please tell me. Please tell me we have an advantage somewhere. I don't think we do.
No, there's not. There's not. The only advantage the Mets have is that they're still playing tonight, as opposed to being at home
and not in this series altogether. I'm gonna say, since we're talking pretty much even all around here, the bats are gonna wake up and they're gonna put up 6-4 win, and get your bags packed for Philly for Saturday.
Because I don't want to seem like a miserable Met fan,
No,
which I am.
Being honest MLB sports fan.
I think I think Milwaukee wins, but I think Milwaukee wins unless we get a solo shot from Pete late, like which
Late. He's
just Posada now. The king of the meaningless solo shot is Jorge Posada. Again, I want 2 doubles from Lindor. I want Nimmo on the bases. I want Vientos to go, 2 for 4, 2 for 5, 1 for 4 with a 2-run double, something. I know playoffs have become a home run contest. You didn't used to be that way. I'm convinced that these toy balls are back in play.
Yep.
I think Milwaukee wins, but I'm really hoping that Lindor keeps earning that salary, and maybe Pete can do something. I don't know. I'm not going to be mad if it's Winker, Nimmo, and Vientos, but it shouldn't have to be. This is when. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, if that's going to be the case, so be it. But you're not gonna. On the other side of it, if let's say they do win, and those guys aren't going to, the Phillies will absolutely annihilate them if they don't show up.
Phillies will. Mets might get the first game because they've seen pitching, but the Phillies are going to crush
playing.
Phillies are going to. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's the case.
Phillies are going to crush them if Pete and Lindor are going to struggle, and Alvarez. So yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm just not. I've seen this movie before, 2 years ago.
Yeah, we all have.
So,
oh my god.
I'm gonna say Milwaukee
at home
wins.
nonetheless.
I'm gonna say Milwaukee wins because if they win, all right, I expected it. If the Mets win, great. So
that's
whatever.
What we said the other day. You know what? A couple months ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? Mets weren't going to be in the playoffs. They weren't going to be. They'll be competitive, but they weren't going to be. And once again, I said it the other day too. Your deadline moves basically define where you think your team is, and they're lucky to be where they are right now. And
I'm with you there, but I will ask a question just for everyone listening.
Who would they have gotten, right?
Who was traded that you would have preferred to get?
So I said this, and you brought it up just now. You said 2 years ago, and I said I watched every game from that stadium at Citi Field. And I said to myself, walking away from that, I said the Mets need a bat that's going to hit 30 and bring in 120. Okay? Because somebody needs to protect Pete, and Lindor needs help too. And they still have yet to do that. Okay? Because that's the difference. So I'm not saying that there was somebody traded, and I brought this up the other day, but the guys that they got were moves to say, like you had said the other day, we got guys. We did something. Those weren't the guys that, like, in that situation, because they're playing good ball. It's August. It's the end of August, right? Whatever it was the deadline? August 31st or July 31st?
July.
They're in it. So if you went out and got the Crochet of the world or another bat in that lineup that's not Jesse Winkler, who is another Tyler Naquin, yes, the same people, then you show me that you're in it you believe in the guys that you have on the field, that they need a little bit more help to get over that hump, and they need that extra just guy that you can move to the bench now that has been starting, that probably shouldn't be starting, and a little bit more relief, from the bats. Maybe Alonso performs more because he has more help in the middle of the lineup. I mean, it's just things like that where it makes me believe, like, okay, you really think you were going to go perform and win with this lineup because you got this far? I mean, they all need help, and the help that they got wasn't what they didn't need. Paul Blackburn. Let's put the cards on the table here if we're going to talk about this. We said that the other day. He's pitched 1 game or 2 games, and he got hurt. And the other kid in the bullpen stinks. The kid from the Marlins.
Brazoban sucks.
And Winker's got a big home run one day in a day game and a triple the other day. You can't tell me that's the guy that's going to make the difference and lead this team to be a real serious contender. So
you would have
on the deadline, and
you would
Mauricio
have
being hurt
dealt
really helps. It
you
really
would
hurts
have
him.
dealt Acuna or Jet or someone Gilbert, someone for Crochet.
No, I think they needed the offensive help more. So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who was available that got traded. That was
I can't even
in
I can't even
conversations at
remember
that
who got
point.
traded. Hater?
It's
Or was
not
was
Darren Ruff,
was that
and it's
before the
not
year?
Tyler Naquin. It's not Jesse Winker. It's these
Not
guys
Daniel
are just
Vogelback.
right.
But these
Okay,
weren't Stern.
there you
In
go.
Stearns' defense, these weren't Stern.
Fine. That's perfectly fine. But the year that they made the run, Cespedes came over here and did what he had to do. Kelly Johnson was amazing for them. And the other kid wasn't a kid when he came over here. He was in the end of his career. Played the infield.
Was it Uribe? Did they have Uribe? Who they have?
Yeah, Juan Uribe was awesome. Right? So there's 3 guys there that came to help them hitting wise. They didn't grab pitching that deadline.
They didn't need it.
And they didn't need it.
Even though Familia wasn't clutch, but
no.
It
but
wasn't
my point is that good for them. They're here. I hope they win. And if they're gonna win, like we said, those guys have to step up. We can't just rely on some miracle getting no hit into the 9th inning and hitting a go ahead home run. So
yeah,
let's figure it out tonight,
But
and
you
let's
know how
wake
I
the bats
feel.
up because
if this is the last game for the Mets,
it's okay.
Goodbye, Pete. Hello, Juan. Hello, Anthony Santander. Hello, Christian Walker. Hello, Bieber.
Yeah.
Hello, Burns. Hello, Roki Sasaki.
Yeah.
give me 3 of those names.
Yeah, give me 3 of those names. It's a different ballgame. Yeah, you're right.
All right, so that's
Let's
it.
move on to Liberty. Let's move on to Liberty basketball.
Well, we'll do the flush first.
That's right. Let's flush it.
We're gonna do our little flush picks first. If I can find the sounder. Oh.
Do it.
Do
it.
There it is. There's the flush.
Sound.
There's the flush we've been looking for. All right. Vin 2-0 last week. Let me get the graphic up. Vin 2-0 last week. So you are 2-2 in the NFL. You are 4-0 with your college picks.
Wow.
I am 3-1 in college. I am 1-3 in NFL. Jesus, I gotta be better with NFL. All right, so my picks. I'm gonna go Pitt on the road in Chapel Hill to face the Tar Heels, who cannot stop a nosebleed. Give me Pitt to win by more than 3 or 3 or more in Chapel Hill, and then we both liked Seattle. You gave me the pick.
We did.
Seattle 6.5 at home. The Giants going cross country. I think Seattle bounces back after a tough loss. They've been playing well. I think they have too many weapons for the Giants to account for. And Kenneth Walker looked
at home.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker looked great on Monday night. And then I'll let you tell your picks. The graphics up, so just say the words.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit earlier. I like the over in the Ole Miss college football game. I think that they're going to come out, put up a lot of points. I think that over was. I think it was 50. I think it's up to 52.5.
I have 53.5 on the graphic.
Yeah, so I think it's going to go up again. So that's that one. I like that, and I also, if you want a bonus, I'll throw the over in the Arkansas Tennessee game as well. And for NFL football, which I'm not a fan of anyway, but I like the Bills. I spoke about that earlier also. On the road at Houston, give me the Bills. Blowout. Texans, reality check. Stroud needs to figure out what year he wants to play in. 2023, 2024. Team needs a leader like his leadership. And he looked a little iffy doesn't look as confident as he did last year, which is bizarre to me because it's the second year now and he looked great as a rookie. So
say it loud, say it Stroud.
Maybe he should take a little Jaden Daniels page out of his book right now because that man plays with confidence.
Yeah, and accuracy. All right, so
yes.
WNBA, and we'll get you out of here. Liberty up 2-0. They can end the series tomorrow. It is tomorrow, right? Do I have that right? I know it's in the scroll. I don't know where I am. I'm all hot and bothered about the fucking Mets. Yeah, so the Liberty are up 2-0 on Vegas, and they will play tonight. Sorry, no, I had it right. Friday, they will play 9:30 in Vegas. They can go for the sweep there. In the other series, the Connecticut Sun and Minnesota Lynx are tied at 1. That series comes back east to Connecticut. That's a fun series. You have Dejanay Carrington, who is quite the shit talker and quite the defender. I love watching her. She's awesome. I liked her. I watched her at Baylor. She's a little bulldog in a positive way. And the Lynx have Nafisa Collier, who is this year she was the second best player in the WNBA behind Asia Wilson. And the MVP voting clearly showed that. So that's a fun series to watch if you're looking for more competitive than Liberty Vegas, because I think Liberty might win that in 3 or 4. And then we have a new sounder once the bye week starts. So we have 4 teams on the bye. I know the Eagles are one of them. Say that again.
The Lions are another bye.
Lions, yeah, we have 4 teams on the bye, so we have a new little sounder.
He was on a bye week, by the way.
That's there's Mr. Dan Marino. So if we didn't mention your team, just know that they were on a bye week, by the way.
That's right.
And then that's it. So let's go Mets. We'll be back Tuesday. If we're trying to keep to the schedule unless something comes up, family wise or we can't be around. We'll try to keep to the schedule for Tuesday and Thursday. So enjoy the weekend. Bet smart, bet well. Let's go Mets. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you got to do. Follow us on socials. They're all on the scroll there. And other than that, have a good weekend. Vin, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Good luck this weekend.
All right. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go